LSU swept at Auburn. Oh, boy. Let's talk about it. Locked on LSU. Here we go.
You are Locked On LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked On LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get great podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you for that. LSU drops the series at Auburn, swept right off the plains. 3-2 was the final in Game 3 on Sunday. A series where LSU went in seemingly having every advantage, both at the plate, on the mound, and in the bullpen. And you come out of the weekend, you are outplayed, you are outcoached, and it is time to get home, get some rest, and get right. Because, my goodness, you undid a lot of good that you'd built up in the first 4 weeks of conference play by not even managing to take a single game on the road on the Plains. Thank you for being here with us. Just a quick reminder of the format of this show. If you're new, I'll give you about 10 minutes of my thoughts on the game. After that, we'll grab our very quick break, come back, and then I'll get to your questions and comments. So please feel free to fire away. If you're listening or watching on demand, we appreciate you for being there with us. Remember, we are live on the Locked On LSU YouTube channel as soon as every LSU baseball game goes final. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. I think this is a weekend in totality where it's obviously defined by the complete lack of offense. The Tigers come into this weekend as one of the best, the LSU Tigers come into this weekend as one of the best offensive teams in the SEC, and so too was Auburn. Auburn came into this weekend 5th in the SEC in batting average and 12th in and 12th in ERA. LSU, meanwhile, came into this weekend as one of the best offensive teams in the league, and then coming off a weekend where you didn't allow a single earned run. Everyone except one person in your everyday starting lineup was hitting over 300 coming into this weekend. So a really difficult weekend to explain, but I think it's one of those things where you got outplayed and outcoached. Let me give you an example. In the bottom of the first inning Sunday, Jay Shores started out 4-pitch strikeout, looked awesome, and followed it up with a 4-pitch walk. Some of the inconsistency we've seen from Jay Shores. But after that, after the walk, Auburn got 2 runs on the board with 2 doubles, both of them off the wall in left field. Now, we talked about this coming into the weekend. That park plays dimensionally very different because it's 3:15 to left. 3:15 to left, when you bang a double off the wall at that park, is just a fly out at the box or most any other park in America. But Auburn knows how to play their park. They play in it every single day. How many times did you see balls elevated to left field by their hitters? Now, LSU hit 11 bajillion balls in the air, which is a fine strategy if you're trying to get your right-handers to pull the ball against that wall. Great, if you can do it, but you managed to fly out everywhere in the field except banging balls off that wall. I think Chris Stanfield might have been the only one who hit a ball off that wall this weekend. I'd have to go back and check myself on it, but clearly either your approach was bad or your execution was bad. How many times, time and again, did Auburn elevate fastballs? I'm not sure who the guy was on the broadcast with Lynn Rollins, the former Auburn pitcher, but he was spot on. Really understood it clearly. I mean, he played and coached. But time and again, Auburn's pitchers were elevating fastballs to get swings and misses and to get lazy fly ball outs. Okay, I don't have a problem hitting the ball in the air if you're hitting the ball to left field against that 315 wall. But if you're hitting lazy fly balls that are just dying in left and right and center, that's not a good approach. So either you were improper, like your strategy was bad, your approach was bad, or just the execution by the hitters was bad. Is probably some combination of all of it therein. And you tip your cap. Butch Jones and Gabe Gross and Auburn staff had their guys ready to play more than LSU's were. Listen, the oddity about this weekend is we all came in thinking, and I'm going to talk more about the offense and everything. We all came in understanding LSU's biggest Achilles heel was the bullpen. And your bullpen this weekend was actually pretty awesome. They allowed 2 runs in the game on Friday after Anderson went 5 1/3. You didn't allow anything on Saturday or Sunday. Your bullpen was nails in games 2 and 3. Your offense was non-existent. So the fact that you actually got some productivity and maybe some confidence out of your bullpen, guys like Connor Ware, obviously we know about Cowan and Evans. Even look, Jacob Myers was awesome in his inning on Saturday. So like you got some things that were, DJ Primo was really good. You got good outings out of the bullpen. Your offense was just completely non-existent all weekend long, and that's just devastating. A couple of things here in the game on Sunday specifically. I mean, how disgusting. In the bottom of the first and the bottom of the second, they end up scoring 3 runs total, 2 in the first, 1 in the second. In both instances, Chase Shores walked a hitter in the first, a hitter in the second. Both of those runs scored. Auburn scored 3 runs on the day. 2 of the 3 got on base via the walk. You let off the top of the third with a walk. You went pop out, foul out, single. Let off with the walk, and then they got the RBI, or they got the single, and then the RBI grounded the double play because the runner went first to third on the base hit. So the RBI double play ultimately got you the 3-0 lead for Auburn. You had opportunities, man. In the top of the fourth, my goodness, they go ground out, hit by pitch, walk. So you got 2 on. Jake Brown's up, and he hits a ball down the right field line that was foul by that much. That's a 2-run double. And then he ultimately ends up grounding out, and then Hernandez grounds out. In the fifth, you get second and third with nobody out, and this really was just the embodiment of the entire weekend. Top of the fifth, you're down 3-0. Second and third, nobody out. The lineup flips over, right? Stanfield singles, the lineup flips over. You got Curiel Jones coming up. Curiel pops out to shallow right. Jones strikes out. Fry, who pinch hits here for Pearson, walks, and then Dickinson comes up and strikes out. I mean, Curiel Jones, Fry, Dickinson, second and third, nobody out, and nobody can put a freaking ball in play. I'm like, if there's anybody you want to have up at the plate in that stretch, you're down 3-0, second and third, nobody out. Who do you want at the plate? I want Curiel Jones. I want the top of my lineup. And they come away with nothing. I mean, it's so massively frustrating. And then in 2 instances, you end up erasing runners on the base paths. Jones is hit by a pitch in the first, then he's caught stealing. Why are you stealing Jared Jones? This is another instance where we talk about Jay Johnson, and I understand he's a great coach. He knows more than I'll ever know, all that stuff. He's also not infallible. We are outthinking the room when Jared Jones is on the move on the base paths. Jared Jones has you heard on the base path, on the broadcast. He's got 4 successful stolen bases this year. He's been caught stealing 3, now 4 times. Like, that is not a good average. That is not a good proposition. Your offense has struggled all weekend. I don't need a race in base runners because Jared Jones get caught stealing. And then in the 6th, you also it was Brown who got caught stealing. Like, what I understand. Like, in that situation, you got a runner first with 2 outs. You're trying to get a runner second, so a base hit gets him home. What you need in that situation is base runners. So you continue to run yourself out of innings. You wasted opportunities both with bonehead decisions and also the lack of execution. And it's massively frustrating because this is a game you should have won. You go on the road on Sunday in the SEC. On the road on Sunday in the SEC, when your starting pitcher doesn't even get out of the third inning, It was Shores hit the first guy in the third inning. Yeah, Shores hit the first guy in the third inning and gets yanked. Your starter gave you 2 innings, and you don't allow a run after the second inning, and you lose. Like, that's what's massively frustrating because this is one of those games. Like, I can look at Auburn playing a very solid baseball this weekend, but And hat tip to Auburn because they had a good plan and they executed it. But that's the massively frustrating thing because you're better than that team. You have better arm talent than they do. You have better hitters than they do. You were better 1 through 9, and you played solid defensively. But Jay Johnson's decision not to have Jake Brown in the lineup the first 2 games, the instances we just talked about, getting guys caught on the base paths, it's frustrating because whenever you look at what's ahead now, you had done so much work through the first 4 weeks of conference play to get to 10-2. You were so far ahead of the curve. Now I'm going to talk big picture in a second. You were so far ahead of the curve at 10-2. All you needed to do was go get 1 this weekend. A series win would have been awesome if you'd have been sitting there at 12-3. But all you needed was really to get 1 to stay ahead of the pace. And instead you get swept in a series where you had a poor offensive approach the entire weekend. You didn't execute a lick. You actually got good pitching from your bullpen, and you pitched well enough to win games 2 and 3. I thought Cade Anderson pitched well enough to win game 1, but of course, Jay Johnson had Tanner Reeves at third base. He kicks a ball, which allowed their big inning in the 4th, as I remember it. I'm not putting it all on Tanner Reeves, but the point is, Jay Johnson pushed all the wrong buttons this weekend with who he had pinch hitting at times, what decisions he made in the field, third base, right, DH. Like, he made all the wrong decisions. And unfortunately, I know I'm not even looking at the comments yet. I know, like, there's going to be a lot of people dumping on Jared Jones. And Jared Jones this weekend was 1 for 13 with 6 strikeouts. That was objectively bad. Jared Jones had a terrible weekend. But Stephen Milam came into this weekend hitting 230 maybe, and nobody has talked about Stephen Milam hitting 230 because you have a lineup picking everybody else up. So Jared Jones having a terrible weekend happens. I'm bummed. I wish he had a better weekend. 1 for 13 with 6 strikeouts is awful. It's uncharacteristic. It's terrible for your 2-hole hitter. He had a lot of opportunities, didn't come through. Okay, like everybody who's ever played the game of baseball has had a 1 for 13 weekend with 6 Ks. It happens. Okay, that happens. But normally with this lineup, you'd have guys pick him up, and if you go on the road, you win 2 out of 3, and they pick him up. You're going, man, really tough weekend for Jones, but he's a great hitter. We know he'll come around and he'll get along. It's a rough patch, just a bad weekend, but it's magnified whenever the rest of your lineup doesn't hit. And unfortunately, that was the case. You left 11 men on base in game 2 when you had opportunities throughout. You only had 4 hits. You out-hit them in game 2. You only had 4 hits in this game, 2 runs on 4 hits, 8 left on base. They left 8 on base as well, but they scratched just 3 on 9 hits. Just a very disappointing game 3, very disappointing weekend where you waste on-base opportunities. But if you want to take away the big picture here, it's that you are at the halfway point of SEC play and you're at 10-5. Yes, it certainly could have been better. Probably should have been better. But you're at the halfway point at 10-5. And what we've consistently talked about is you wanted to get to 20-10. That's the benchmark that everybody looks at. You get to 20-10 and you're a national seed. Okay, you're at the halfway point, you're 10-5. Replicate that in the second half and you got a great opportunity. Something we probably didn't talk about enough is just the challenge of going on the road back-to-back weekends and then in a midweek. I mean, that is 7 straight road games. It can wear on you. There's fatigue. I'm not saying that's a full-on excuse, but it's a lot. So come home next weekend against Alabama, who you're better than, and win a home series, and then you're really going to get into the grind where you're going to have Tennessee, you have a road series against A&M, you're going to have Arkansas, before you finish up against South Carolina on the road, who's, maybe right there with Arkansas as the 2 worst teams in the league. So you've got a great opportunity ahead. And your 2 toughest series with Arkansas and Tennessee are at home. Arkansas lost a series this weekend to Georgia. I'm checking to see the final score of the Tennessee Ole Miss game to see what happened there because they split the first 2. And Ole Miss is, as we do this live, Ole Miss is winning game 3, 10-8. So Ole Miss is on the verge of potentially beating Tennessee. So that's a win. I mean, that's a winnable series. Like, they're great and talented, but they're vulnerable. Like, they're beatable. So you've got opportunities ahead of yourself, but you got to play a hell of a lot better than you did this weekend because, my goodness, that was just not good. Okay, let me knock out my only very quick break. We'll come back and get to your questions and comments as we continue Locked on LSU. It's your team every day. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, shopping online, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. It's also all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Today's show is also brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Masters program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. I think it's a term. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Masters program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com. Okay, let's get to you. Thanks so much for being with us here. LSU drops the series. They are swept by Auburn on the Plains, and we'll get to your questions and comments, so please fire away. We appreciate you for being there with us. If you're live with us on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. Thomas, thanks for being there. NIL Young Boy, appreciate you for being here each game. Said, need you to find some stats and how many times the shift has worked for us. I don't mind digging into it and seeing if I can find that. There are high-level analytics, but by now you all know how I feel about it. I am very much a believer in play the position, and it is possible to outthink the room. And I think with LSU's defensive alignments in large part, they are doing that. However, I know they are looking at deep-level analytics, not just for every hitter, but for every count of every hitter. And sometimes I think that is excessive. Like, play the positions. Okay, Jared, where's the offense? That's on the coaching. There's coaching and there's execution. When Luis Hernandez swings at a pitch that's in the left-handed batter's box, that's not coaching. That's a hitter who didn't get the pitch he was looking for and swung at an awful pitch. When Jared Jones and Daniel Dickinson strike out on elevated fastballs at above the letters, that's not coaching. That's a guy in the box taking a bad swing. It's the weird thing about baseball. Like in football, you can blame coaching because coaching strategizes on literally every single play. There's a play call, there's a defensive alignment, you're trying to anticipate what they're going to do. It's a chess match, and there is coaching on literally every single play. In baseball, a coach can't go throw a pitch. A coach can't catch a fly ball. A coach can't stand in the box and make a decision if they're going to swing at a 3-2 breaking ball. Like, ultimately, the coach's job is to set the lineup in certain situations strategically, call on the right pinch hitter, know when to get the right reliever in the game. There's a handful of decisions over the course of a game that a coach makes that affect the game itself as it plays out. This is one of those weekends where I think lineup, positional changes, shifting, things like that did negatively affect LSU throughout. I kind of felt like it was one, and again, next weekend it may be something where every decision Jay makes works. This is one where it felt like every decision they made didn't work. Brennan Huff, thank you for being there. Katie, another day of fly balls. Again, I don't hate the strategy in that ballpark, a small park, of hitting the ball in the air to left field where it's 315 to left. If you want to bang doubles or long singles off that wall and just put holes in that wall all weekend, fine. What I have a problem with is routinely flying out on elevated pitches to right and center field. That's where I have an issue. Michael Morris, frustrating to watch us lose the same way all weekend long. It's true. Spurs, a lot of pop-up work and batting practice. Colin said, I'm concerned about the offense. Even last weekend, the sweep of Oklahoma, the offense wasn't great. So it's worth mentioning the OU series was a series geared toward pitching and defense because of the weather. It was 40 degrees and the wind was blowing in. Nobody hit. LSU did put up 10 runs in the second game, but I'm not so worried about the offense a week ago. This was a weekend where I thought your collective approach was wrong, and y'all know how I feel about it also. I think Jake Brown should have been in the entire weekend. As a matter of fact, Jake Brown did get an RBI single in the 8th inning that got you within 3-2. He also missed a 2 RBI double by about that much in the 4th inning. I've spoken my piece on that. Y'all know how I feel. Let's see, base running errors. Jones should have been pitch hit for. I disagree on Jones being pitch hit for. No, I'm not going to read that any further. He is still, but who at that point, who are you going to go get? Who are you going to get? You want to put John Pearson in there? You want to go get a true freshman and tell me, hey, kid, you haven't hit in a competitive situation, I don't know, 5 at-bats in SEC play? Go grab a bat. We need you to come through. Or do you want Jared Jones? Come on, man. Like, you're not pinch hitting for Jared Jones in that situation. Like, he's going to swing through it. He's going to get through his struggles. Everybody struggles. You're not pulling Jared Jones. Christian could be a blessing in disguise for the team. Maybe. I hope you do. I hope you do learn from things like that. P-Dub said, do champions usually get swept? They're not champs yet. Got a long way to go. They're a very good team, and they're capable of it. But certainly, you lose series. I mean, the 2023 team lost a series to... Didn't they lose a series to Kentucky? They had no business losing. They beat him in the Super Regional, but anyway. Bradley, LSU will be okay. They beat themselves this weekend. Listen, man, you got to give credit to Auburn. Auburn played that matchup beautifully. They executed. You didn't. Auburn bang doubles. Like, how many times did you watch Derek Curiel twisting, leaping at the warning track this weekend and left? Like, he was not prepared to play the dimensions of that park, unfortunately. Like, he knew he had to be mindful of it, but he was almost too mindful of it. Like, leaping before he got to the track. Like, there was one that banged off the wall where he was up against the wall instead of fielding it off the wall and holding to a single. Like, he was not ready for it. That's coaching. Like, your guys were not ready for the dimensions of that park. Auburn outplayed you this weekend, man. Let's see. The team is too streaky, have one big inning most game, winning mass deficiencies. I think they have deficiencies. I don't think anybody's denying the deficiencies. But, and also, when you play 36 games now, they are, didn't they come in this weekend 30-3? Am I right? 31-3? So they're 31-6. So you play 37 games. Like, that's a big enough sample size that if you're going to sit here and try to tell me that, like, this isn't a good team, I'm not there with you. I think LSU is a good team. I think they've got everything you need to win a national championship. And you may laugh at that, but I mean, a lot of you complained about the pitching behind Skeens in 2023. Y'all forget Ty Floyd was maligned throughout that entire season. I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of parallels right now with Chase Shores and Ty Floyd. And I'm still really confident on Chase Shores because the stuff is good enough. He just needs more mound time. I think that is going to end up looking, mark my words, like mark the tape here. I think that is going to end up looking very similar to Ty Floyd. Ty Floyd was a guy who was teetering on losing his spot in 2023. You kept running him out there because you didn't have anybody else because Hurd hadn't pitched well. And he pitched his way in the final month of the season into being a late first-round draft pick because the stuff was so good. He ultimately commanded it on big spots, and it's what it was. I think Chase Shores is on a similar trajectory. Remember, he hadn't pitched in 2 years. So, like, he's made, was it 8 or 9 starts this year? But, before this, he had not pitched competitively in 2 years. Like, that is still going to be a learning curve for him to get back. So, and again, I think this team's plenty good enough to win a championship. Like, they've got 3 good starters. They're showing you they've got enough arms in the bullpen, and we know they can hit. This was a terrible weekend. This was just a terrible weekend where you had opportunities to win all 3 games and you couldn't get it done. Brant, got to be 20 plus something pop-ups. Can't help it is the most I've gotten mad and yelled. My family got worried about me. Listen, it was a frustrating weekend. And I'll say it again, like, I don't mind the fly balls this weekend as long as you're dead, as it's righties dead pulling them to left to bang it off the wall. The Derek Curiel, and I don't mean to bang on Curiel because he's been awesome this year, but when you were in the 5th, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, Curiel up, and he pops up behind second base, that is inexcusable. Like, that ball has got to be on the ground of the right side, which, as we've talked about, where survivor's remorse. He's really good at hitting the ball on the ground of the right side. They're going to concede the run. Ball on the ground of the right side or to the outfield to get the run home. A pop-up behind second base or on the shallow right field grass is completely unacceptable. And then Jones and Dickinson both striking out. Like, those are the guys you count on. And those are great dudes. So I'm not sitting here like completely dumping on them because they've been awesome. A giant reason why you are what you are this year is because those dudes are awesome. This weekend, they were not. Yes, 8 runs all weekend was not good. Brian, any chance Cowan or someone replaces Shores as a starter? I still don't think you're there. Like, because what do you do today in the event that Cowan gets you started and goes 3-4 innings, whatever it may be, and then what do you do? Like, Shores needs to be, last week Shores was good for you. Shores needs to be a guy that you can count on. And you have to keep running him out there. Mikal, all the flyouts are not a coincidence. Hitters forgot their role, try to do too much. I also think a big part of that is you had Tip Auburn. Auburn was the color analyst on the broadcast was really good all weekend. He consistently pointed out, like, they were elevating pitches intentionally, and LSU kept elevating the baseball. So Auburn had an approach. Butch Thompson, their coach, is a pitching coach by trade, and I thought they executed really well. So had Tip to Auburn. Ross, it's just baseball. Auburn was better this weekend. Now they have 9 games at the box. No place like home. Stuff happens. That is the ultimate glass half full approach, is you do have 9 straight home games. You get to play Alabama at home, then you get Tennessee at home. Go win this weekend against Alabama. Take 2 out of 3. You're at home. And then you will set up a massive series against Tennessee, who just lost a series at home to Texas A&M and is on the ropes right now. We'll see if we can get this when this game goes final. Tennessee and Ole Miss are bottom 8 with Ole Miss leading 10-8. No, forgive me. I was looking at the hit line. Forgive me. I was looking at the SEC's website. The format of the SEC's website is atrocious. It's tied at 7. Forgive me. Bottom of the 8th. Ole Miss and Tennessee tied at 7. We'll see how that goes. Toki dokie. Skona, been a minute. JJ might shift this team right out of winning a regional. Just want to win the home series. Listen, being swept this weekend only magnifies the importance of winning this coming weekend at home against Alabama. Like, I'm frustrated like all of you are. That was massively frustrating 3 days of baseball. But you can't lose sight of the 10,000-foot view, which is you're 10-5 at the halfway point. You are pacing exactly where you want to be. And if you look at it, you go, okay, if LSU's in a 4-team regional at the box, can they win it? Yes. If they advance to a super regional, they're a national seed. They're at home for a 3-game series against the box, or at the box against a good team. Do you think you can go win 2 out of 3 when you have Cade Anderson going on Friday, Anthony Einson going game 2, all the bullpen arms we talked about, this offense hitting the way it has this weekend, not withstanding? Yes, man. Like, and this is another good point from Gulf South. They said Oklahoma scored 25 runs so far this weekend. They did nothing last weekend. Playing in the 30s, 40s sucks for everyone. The Oklahoma has had a great weekend against Vanderbilt. Last week was a very pitching and defense oriented weekend, but Oklahoma is also a good team that you swept on the road. This was a terrible weekend, man. It was a terrible weekend. So, let's see if they can rebound next week with Alabama coming into the box. So, listen, you go win 2 out of 3 next weekend against Alabama at home, and you come out of that 12-6, you continue your pace. And then you set up a massive weekend against Tennessee. So all things considered, Chase Shore's inconsistence got to be better. I thought too many men left on base. Really, I thought Auburn's approach all weekend, elevating pitches, getting LSU hitters to chase, banging balls off the left field wall. They outplayed you, outcoached you, outplayed you, outschemed you all weekend long. A brutal weekend for Jared Jones, but there was no one there to pick him up. But your bullpen was really good. Let's not lose sight of that. If you want something positive, that's it. We have been looking at this team with the bullpen being the one big Achilles heel, and they were great this weekend. So carry that forward, and you feel much better about them moving forward. Okay, y'all, let's wrap this thing up. Thanks so much for being with us here. If you're live with us, I appreciate y'all so much for hanging out after every LSU game. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video on YouTube. And if you're listening or watching on demand, please subscribe as well. And be sure to join us on Locked On LSU YouTube channel as soon as every LSU game goes final. Until next time, y'all. It's Locked On LSU, your team every day.